Coach Rivera, this is now your third off season, and probably the first where you get to have everybody in person, a little bit more normal of what you're used to of life outside of COVID. How so far are things, I guess, going for you?
I think that things have gone well. You know, there's been a lot of pluses, things that we're building on, we're getting better at. You know, this is a group for the most part that really is our group in terms of the types of players, the number of players. It's a young team, it's a young group of guys that are really coming along, developing. You know, there's a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm for those things. And we have who we believe is a guy that can be our quarterback for a while.
That's something I know you really kind of came in here quickly, and this is a team that I always told people it has like your fingerprint on it more than any other year that you've been here. Is that would naturally take a little bit of time. You got a veteran quarterback, which I think you always feel like you wanted as well because there is a lot of youth. How do you feel Carson is in that room, kind of like leading the guys, working with them? Because I look at that offense and it is young and it is exciting.
Yes. Well, when you look at the skill positions, that's where you truly do see the youth. I mean, at running back, you know, the veteran guy being JD. Tight end, the veteran guy being Logan. Wide receiver, the veteran guy being Terry.
Right.
And you sit there and go, wow, but Terry's only going into his fourth season, you know. But that's the veteran guys. Where you really see the anchor, though, is our front. You know, our front five is a group of guys we feel very comfortable about and really think that these guys can help protect Carson, give Carson the time he needs to get the ball to those talented young players.
Do you feel like, are there still question marks on that line?
Oh, yeah, there are. I mean, first of all, because of the health. I mean, we've had some nicks. We've had some guys at a couple of different positions that, you know, we haven't got a chance to really see them work with Carson. The tight end position, we have a lot of questions. Obviously, the only one that's been healthy has been our Armani. He's the only one that's been out there.
And he's a quarterback.
Yeah, he was a quarterback.
Tight end.
But the best part about him is he's such an athletic football player that he makes plays. So it's going to be real interesting, I think, when we really start to get everybody back in the next few days. You know, we won't have everybody out on the field on Saturday. But once we get back together the following week, we'll start to get all our guys out there and start prepping as we get ready for the opener.
So as you're dealing with a lot of these nicks and bruises and that line constantly shuffling, guys having to play multiple positions, which you preach a lot of for very valid reasons when you see this is how it goes. I guess where is it in being ready for Jacksonville? Because you've kind of had limited time with them in the preseason against a different opponent.
Exactly, and that's the big concern you have is that, you know, we haven't seen them all together. You know, and what you really want to be able to do is once we get to next week and we know, that group has to work together over and over and over in preparation for Jacksonville.
Defense. What about the first team defense?
You know, I've been very pleased with a lot of things out there, but I really felt that Saturday was a disappointment in terms of our third down. It's been something we've talked about, something we've worked on, and for us to not be as successful as we needed to be, that was disappointing. Why? Because those are all things that we can do better. First and foremost, we as coaches got to make sure that these guys understand the important significance of what that third down is, what the importance and significance of who that quarterback is, and then go from there. You know Patrick Mahomes is out on the field. There's a certain discipline you have to rush with. You know, I thought the secondary did an excellent job in terms of coverage. You can only ask them to hold their guy, you know, be around their guy for so long, and then things start to break down. And that's really what you saw when you put the tape on. That's it. You know, we dialed up a couple of pressures, and we didn't run them the way we needed to, and because of that, the pressure got there just a step too late. And so you look at those things and you say, you know, that's disappointing first and foremost, but that is correctable.
The pressure on the quarterback, we even talked to Deron Payne, he's like he was looking forward to going up against Pat Mahomes because it would be a good challenge and a test to kind of where they stand against a mobile quarterback, and of course, a $500 million man too. There's a reason you get paid for that. You know, you make a change at the D-line, the room and the coaching staff there. Is there a natural timing for when maybe it'll get to what you want it?
Yes. Because
obviously there's a reason you make changes.
I think there is. I think they're starting to come. They're starting to get the mix together and the feel and the understanding of one another. You know, I think Jeff has stepped in and done a very nice job. And these guys are just starting to really get to know who Jeff really is. I mean, he was the assistant for a couple of years. Now he's the head guy. He's in charge of the room. He's the guy that's making the decisions on what's happening as far as the way they're preparing, getting themselves ready to go. And then game time, he's got a big influence and impact. I think Jeff's done a nice job. I think the guys are getting used to it.
Sometimes we think he might get in there and play as well.
Oh, he would love to. I know that.
He looks like it. There's a reason he played 17 years as is. As you go up into this final preseason game here against the Ravens, like, what are you looking for? Because your starters aren't going to be out there. And this is where you really, I mean, do you have your mind already made up who's going to make the roster, or can it be changed in this game?
It can be changed. I mean, we've got a lot of close battles, and most of those battles really are for the depth position. You know, some guys that'll play special teams for us, but they've also got to be prepared to be able to get on the field and make an impact if they have to play a lot. You know, so as we go through it, you know, tight end is a big position for us. You know, the secondary is another big position for us as far as that's concerned in terms of, you know, who, what, and how are they going to get on the field. And then, you know, as you look through both the fronts, you know, there's a good mix of depth guys that we've got to have, and we've got to make some tough decisions.
You mentioned tight end. How great is it to get Logan Thomas back?
It was exciting. It really has. It's been kind of cool. I go over and watch him when he's doing the work, the intermittent work that he does with the quarterbacks, especially with Carson, and you see that instant connection, which is kind of exciting because I know one of the things that Carson has always done is he's thrown well to the tight ends. Not having Logan, not having John, and not having Cole out there has been a little bit of a step back for our offense. But like I said, Armani has done such a good job. I think he's really helped to keep that development part of it for Carson going for him.
Well, you still have to put in your installs.
Yes, we do. Oh, yeah.
Tight end's going to be a big part of that. When it comes to the time of making the cuts, how do you, like, is that difficult for you to call a guy into your office and know that this is life-changing for them?
Oh, for the most part, most certainly it is. You know, I went through it. I understand what it feels like. And then I've done it as a position coach, coordinator, now as a head coach, and it is life-changing. And in a lot of these cases, sometimes, you know, for the most part, it's the end of a football career, and it's the beginning of something else. And then for other guys, it just means, okay, one door may shut here and may open again, or it may have to go somewhere else to open another door.
Chase Young put on the PUP list, so he's out at least 4 games, but you get to save that roster spot. What have you seen in just how he's handled this offseason and the injury, and still active there on the sideline in the middle of, you know, the huddle and all the action?
The biggest thing with him you've seen the progression of his return. You see things going well. You see every day he hits another milestone, and you go, okay, he's on his way. He's on his way. You know, this was a fairly serious injury, and you know, and fairly invasive repair, but he's come so far, and Doc is really excited about it. Everything he's done in terms of his rehab has been exactly what we've needed. I mean, you know, and getting to see him every day is also really big for us.
I know he loves being around here and the guys, and you can see that infectious attitude with all of them as well. So as you're getting ready for Jacksonville, like, is there certain emotions that build up?
That first game is always a big deal. It really is, because there's, you know, so much hope, so much energy going into that first one, and you know, you've got to be able to temper that, because if you don't, you know, it is an exhausting first emotion, because it is the first game. I mean, you get built up, you get excited, you get geared up, and you know, and then the game's over. Okay, now you got to get back and get ready for the next one.
What's the message for the guys as they're knowing what they're going through, getting ready for that as well?
I think the biggest thing is really about trust and responsibility. And one of the things we talked about is, you know, hey, you got to trust in your technique. You've got to, you know, trust in your teammates. You got to trust in the process. And then, you know, be responsible. Take responsibility for yourself getting ready to go. And we've been harping on that all year with these guys.
Looking forward to it.
I am too.
Thank you, Coach.